The Battle of Britain is about to begin.
Deep right, we got tanks up there. Let's follow a range on deep right. I'm doing out right on the target right now. I've got a couple of these right in front of me. I'm going out for it. Right, I got him.
Welcome back to the Lead Pursuit Podcast. Tonight, we're going to talk about New Year's resolutions, specifically hobby resolutions. No, none of that wellness or living right crap. Not here. We're going to talk hobby resolutions and our goals for the next year. But first, let me introduce the members of this podcast by their resolutions from last year. And of course, first and foremost, the man who swore he would never shave his beard, Brett Cantor. Brett, how you doing tonight?
Yeah, restore to factory settings. I think I need to do that for my laptop too.
Yeah, your laptop and your beard have been restored to factory settings. But you know, yours was not the only promise that fell flat out there, because we also on the podcast have the man who swore he would not acquire any more A4 Skyhawks. Matt, how you doing tonight?
You know, that's totally unfair. Steve sent me a whole bunch of them. I didn't purchase any of them.
You acquired them. You could have thrown them out. You could have melted them down.
You could have sent me A6s.
Well, you know, speaking of Steve and going back to the whole shaving thing, we have the man who vowed to improve his hand-to-hand and grappling skills by shaving off all of his body hair, none other than Blue Falcon's Steve. Steve, how you doing tonight?
Good, man. Yeah, I think I found a trick to getting out of the rear naked choke. It's a move called the hypoallergenic cat. You just get completely hairless and slide right out of that thing.
Slide right out of it. You're slippery. Can't hold on to you. Well, all right, guys. Thanks for joining on the podcast tonight. For our listeners out there, it's been a rough couple of weeks for all of us between sickness, kids, holidays, random not giving a crap. So we haven't recorded. So we apologize for that. But we're back in the saddle. Let's talk about some events. So next, obviously right now, LVO is going on. John Russell's out there. I guess they're doing some historical stuff out at LVO. I'm not there. Have fun in Las Vegas, boys. But that should be a good time. Hopefully they'll get a little bit of bolt action in, maybe some blood red skies. But moving on from that, let's see. Siege of Vicksburg, 14 to 17 February down in Vicksburg, Mississippi at the VFW again. There's a lot of stuff on that schedule. So if you haven't gone to the convention website and haven't hopped over to their tabletop event site, there's 3 days full of tons of events already. And it's actually a 4-day convention. You can still play on Monday for President's Day. So I talked to Mike Lewis. He should be there and running something for Blood Red Skies, maybe a tournament, maybe a furball, who knows what, but it's not on the schedule yet. So I'll make sure we get that on the schedule. So if you are going to Siege of Vicksburg, I won't be there. I'll be on a plane going elsewhere in the world for work. But hey, go hang out with Mike, have a good time, and play some Blood Red Skies. After that, the next big event for us is Adepticon. So 26 to 30 March in obviously Milwaukee this time instead of Schaumburg. Registration opened up on the 12th. So how about that registration, boys?
I got my super duper swag bag. I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, that worked out. Brett, you got your the swag that you wanted, which was picking up a glass and some other stuff, right?
Yeah, I went pretty light this year. I didn't go for the enormous swag bag, but I did get a couple fun things.
A ludicrous swag bag, yeah. So it worked out well for me. I mean, after the first 10 minutes, obviously, C-Vent crashed right at noon when everything opened up. But it took them about 9.5 minutes to reboot it. So about minute 10, I was able to get back in, and it moved pretty fast. I know there were people that had it hang on credit card processing. I got that. It's hard for people to believe that was the minority and a very small minority. A lot of people got the credit cards processed like me and got their stuff.
They ought to They ought to throw in the swag bag for the people that get it a new keyboard because everybody's F5 keys are all jacked up.
Exactly.
From refreshing. So
I can't hit refresh any more times. Yeah, no shit, man. Well, from talking to the guys and the staff, it's a crapshoot working with Cvent because even when you coordinate everything, sometimes they don't devote the site traffic that you need, or in this case, when they say they do, it still crashes. So there's some things they're going to work through, and I think the problem is to bump up to the next tier would raise the ticket price for Adepticon to be in the ludicrous range rather than where it kind of is in the $90, $95 range. But anyway, we're going to be there. Lots of events. Go out, take a look at the schedule. If you're going to be there, please at least stop by and say hi. We'll be up in the Historicals top floor of the Baird Conference Center, and we will be streaming, having fun, drinking beer, doing whatever you do at a convention. All right. Summertime. So what are we doing in the summer? Well, we might go back to Pax River. That's the latest rumor. Working with the team there at the Pax River Museum. So we might do an event there. Hope we do. NashCon is 14 to 17 August. We will definitely do that. Hopefully I will drag Matt back up there since it's a local con for him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Look forward to it.
Yeah, so NashCon's always a good time. We will do a tournament there again, and we'll do some more Blood Red Skies and Beyond Meg Alley. And then we have a new one that just joined the list, Phalanx Con. So Phalanx Consortium, people that do all the miniatures, up there in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. And if you're like me and you go, where the F is Hopkinsville, Kentucky? It is the, quote, Fort Campbell area. It's actually north of Fort Campbell. So if you're like me and you're an old guy, okay, yes, Matt, you may ask a question.
Where the F is Fort Campbell?
Really? I guess you were just a low speed, low drag, or low speed, high drag, whatever person. Yes, Fort Campbell, like Tennessee, Kentucky border, where 160th SOAR is. Those guys. Cool.
Oh, these guys that fly over my house like every 3 weekends or something,
Yeah,
every
those guys
third
that come
weekend.
bring their little birds down here to get worked on and fly all over.
No, I'm more concerned about the Chinook that likes to hover over my house on a random.
Hope he's not doing hover checks. Good luck with that. Well, if you're an old guy like me and you go, where the F is Hopkinsville? That's the exit you get off to pee at when you get to Kentucky, because it's the first Love's truck stop once you cross over the Tennessee border. And Matt's giving me a look like you old people are weird. No, that Matt, when you're old, that's how you figure out your highways, is where you stop to pee. All right. Those are the only events we have on the calendar right now. There's obviously a lot more coming out. There's going to be Fall in the fall and some other stuff. So get your events to us. If you're hosting an event, please let us know. I feel bad. I should have Steve Guskey's event on here, and I forgot to add it, and I suck. So as we're talking tonight, I'll go jump back in Facebook and get the dates for that. And we'll talk about it. But hey, please send us your events. We'll send you some swag, and we'll get stuff out there to the rest of the community. All right. Before we embarrass ourselves with tonight's main topic, does anyone else have any events or other cool new things they want to talk about that they've seen?
So just, I was telling you before we started recording, I saw Army Painter and WizKids are doing speed paint pens.
Yeah, still trying to figure out how that's going to work.
I saw a video. It might have limited use for Blood Red Skies. That said, I've seen some people do some cool stuff with the express paint, speed paints, contrast paints, and the little smaller miniatures. So it might be something, but they're coming out soon. They might be up for pre-order already. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it looked like something, might be good for canopies or something like that. Depending on the size of the tip, so to speak. So that was the only really cool
the size
hobby.
Of the tip. And how you apply the tip. Yeah. It's always about that.
It's not the motion of the ocean. Or wait, no, it is the motion of the ocean.
Anyway,
moving on.
Uncomfortable. Moving on. As I'm moving on, I still can't find Steve's event information. I'm sorry, Steve. We suck. We're the worst ever. Go to Steve's event whenever it is. Okay. Anyone else got any other things to talk about that they've seen out there in the gaming world or otherwise? No, Brett and Steve, we don't care about DCS, so don't tell us about your new headsets.
I did want to say that the Kickstarter is going to be relaunched this fall. So it didn't fund. We had a little push at the end, but it didn't quite get funded. The U.S. Vietnam Jets Kickstarter is going to launch, I would say, probably right around Adepticon time.
Okay.
The extra planes are going to be thrown in with it. So the Valkyrie, the F-105 Wild Weasel, and the F-111 are all going to be in the just whole package now for one deal since they're already made anyway. And
Nice.
we'll give it another go around. I guess, what is that? Late winter, early springtime?
Yeah, late March. So whenever that falls into the spring, whatever. I know it's the end of Ramadan. That's all I know. I don't know whether that's fall or spring. It's the end of Ramadan. All right. So Matt's giving me that look. All right. Let's move on. So let's talk hobby goals. Let's talk about what we want to get out of 2025 besides richer, better looking, and more miniatures not in our closet of shame. So I'm going to jump in and I'm going to say, Matt, give me one of your resolutions. Let's not go through the whole thing yet, but give me your top number one thing you're going to try to knock out.
Well, I actually have to call an audible here. My top resolution now is to get a couple miniatures painted for the High Ground Hobbies miniature. What is it? What are they calling it? It's a miniature
exhibition.
Exhibition.
Really,
that was it. I was about to say forum, and I'm like, that's not right.
Forum, yeah. It's an inquisition.
Yeah, inquisition. They come and beat you and then take your miniatures.
Exactly.
You and Chris suggested I enter a couple of my Vietnam aircraft, and since I gave you all my currently painted Vietnam aircraft, I decided to paint a couple more. So I just primed some of Steve's A6s, a couple A4s, and a what the hell was the other one? A6, A4, and F8. So I'm trying to get those done before, I think that's March 1st. So
Yep. Yeah, that'll be cool. So they're Tiny Treasures, the second iteration of that. If you're in the North Alabama area, Middle Tennessee, Eastern Mississippi, Western Georgia, whatever, within driving range of Huntsville, come over. It's kind of a cool evening. I don't know if it'll be as highbrow as it was last time.
I kind of hope it is.
Props to Shades and to Wes for making it a highbrow evening. So hopefully it will be, and we'll stand around eating hors d'oeuvres, drinking champagne, and oh my, did you see the paint job on that F4B?
It was the only one there because nobody else painted their historical miniatures.
The only historical miniature there with all the 40K stuff, the 40K and the chibis. Steve, you could come down. They were painted chibis last time. So
everyone's going to like wander over to this section and be like, what the F is this? It's not bright blue.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's not ultramarines blue. All right. Well, cool. That's your number one. All right. I'll throw my first one out there is to get this frickin' disaster that is my hobby room frickin' somewhat organized. And I'm not saying that it's going to be perfect, but my hobby desk is an absolute disaster. It is piled high with full thrust miniatures, extra parts from Battle Bling for Legion Imperialis and Knights and stuff like that, and some Aeronautica Imperialis aircraft that just came over. And thank God that I don't have anything that Steve's not sending me free boxes of shit, because there'd be more airplanes piled on top of it. So please, nobody send me anything. I'm good. I have more lead and resin sitting on that workbench that I know what to do with. So the point is organize it. And there's the first thing I have to do is just organize by projects. It's going to kind of be triage. Shit is going to get stuffed in containers and put in the closet of shame. But it's got to get off the desk or else nothing is going to get manufactured, because I was doing that standard hobby thing where I had a space of about 12 square inches, and that's what I was working in to paint miniatures a couple weeks ago. So yeah, I gotta fix that. So that's number one for me. Steve, how about for you?
Man, my number one for this year is I have an 1/72nd Airfix Spitfire model that I started in July of 2022. And it's like at the stage where it's assembled, ready to be airbrushed, and it's just been sitting on the turntable in my airbrush spray booth for damn near 3 years now. So 2025.
Well, that explains why you haven't airbrushed anything.
2025, I'm going to airbrush that model.
I'm going to get that damn model done.
Yep.
Yeah. You just jinxed yourself.
Oh, it's never happening.
It's never going to happen this year now.
I'm going to have to buy a new spray booth rather than move that model.
Yeah, exactly. That's literally what you should do. Just buy a whole new spray booth and an airbrush. All right. Brett, what's your number one resolution?
My number one, you talking about models in the spray booth. I'm looking at a couple of vehicles in my spray booth that I got to finish. So I got a little bit of stuff I need to finish for our annual bolt action game, including those two vehicles I mentioned and a few little duders on motorcycles that are almost done. I just need to get off my butt and knock those out. So that's my number one. I want to get those done. Now, of course, this is all like version 2 of bolt action. So, now they're on to a whole version 3. So who knows, like if my stuff even makes any sense, but whatever.
Yeah,
we're going to play our game. It's going to be a good time.
Be irrelevant.
That's right. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's still cool.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. All right. Well, I think a lot of us are in similar situations that, over the last couple months, a year, shit has gotten pushed to the side. It needs to get done. Adepticon is always a good forcing factor for that because we got to get our armies ready, got to get some terrain done. I know there's some things I got to get done for the AI games. Thankfully, there's not a lot of terrain when it comes to Blood Red Skies, or else I'd be screwed. But yeah, that's how it is. All right. Matt, your next goal.
So my next goal is my wife and I talked about it. We kind of need access to the guest room that my hobby room had become my hobby room. We're going to end up moving the hobby room into the bonus room. I get more space, a lot more storage stuff, and basically move the storage from the room that I'm also hobbying in into the attic. It makes my wife happy. We get a second guest room. It makes me happy. I've got more space. I don't have stuff crowded. And hopefully, because it's more open space, I'll keep it cleaner rather than the random piles of crap. And I mean, I can right now.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I know how it's going to go.
Yeah. That's more room for more Wildcats and A4 Skyhawks, right?
Oh, yeah. It is.
Yeah.
I don't care. It is.
Guys, we haven't explained to him how this works. She also is moving you to the attic so she can lock you in there. So
yeah, probably.
Hide you away from the child. Do not warp the child anymore.
Oh, that's too late, man. Oh, that's absolutely too late. We were listening to Sabaton the other day, and she was just headbanging along in the back. I could see her in the mirror. It was awesome.
Excellent. I would say Trevor approves, definitely. Well, for me, going from cleaning up the hobby space to putting stuff into the closet of shame, that transition is organizing projects. Now, I have some projects that are well organized and they're in clear containers and they have a accurate and precise description on that clear container. Then I have other ones that are an absolute shit show that literally the project is written as various 40K things. Oh, that's awesome. That helps me. So they're 28 mil tanks or infantry or bikes or what. And there was a couple of those that were pretty generically named that I was digging through the other day that had like 3 sprues in them. So I'm like, it's not like they're a compilation of things. Just write 30K Outrider bikes, whatever Legion on there, and then get back to it. So putting projects into individually labeled transparent containers, because I don't know how everyone else is, but if I don't put them in transparent containers, I forget about them. They're gone. They're in a box of shame somewhere. Kind of like Brett's previous closet of shame where how many Thunderfire cannons did we pull out, Brett? 4? 5?
Yeah, I think I gave you 3, didn't I? Something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So
those are the unpainted ones. I have a painted one, but I had several in the closet.
Yeah, that was back when Thunderfire cannons were a thing and the lists, and yeah, that was a long time ago. But yeah, so that's really my big one is trying to get a lot of the miniatures projects and gaming projects organized so that that I know what I'm pulling from and I know what my plan is. I was talking to a couple people last week, and guys were like, "Hey, are you playing Legion Imperialis yet?" I'm like, "Oh no, I've got all the miniatures, but nope, got nothing painted, not at all." So, and Matt's shaking his head too. Have you at least assembled something? Please tell me you have.
All right. What are we counting as? Oh yes, I did rhinos. I did rhinos. Okay.
Good.
I did
You
rhinos.
and I have
Yeah.
10 rhinos assembled.
Yeah, I've
one
got.
painted.
I think I've got 9.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, 9
I'm
because
heading back for something.
yeah.
Nice.
I was going to say I've got a Thunderhawk, if that counts.
Yes,
But
that does. That actually does.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, I did a Thunder. I've got a Thunderhawk and a couple of Space Wolf or the Xiphons. So
those don't
those
count.
are
You've had those forever. So
no,
you can't double count those.
I repainted them. That counts because they used to be Space Sharks. Now they're Space Wolves.
Oh yeah. Well, there's space sharks out there. I'm just.
You like that paint job? They have the cool Maori.
That was.
Yeah.
That was.
Oh, I should put those in the thing.
Yeah, you should. Yeah. More things for the miniature thing. All right, Steve. Resolution number 2.
So I have some 2.5 ton bolt action trucks that I wanted to paint for transports, and they've been kind of stalling. I honestly don't even really want them for my list. I just want to be able to intentionally incorrectly call them douche and a halves so that all the grognards just get like super triggered that I'm, calling.
You're that guy. You're just you're gonna cause these poor grogs to have a conniption fit, and yeah. But that'll be funny.
I do have to get them done. Brett always brings like the super like mechanized transport list, and then they just mowing my guys down with machine guns. So I do got to get those trucks done.
Well, Brett, slacker number 1, what's your next thing?
I want to try my hand at painting a single miniature just the best of my ability and do some stuff that I haven't done. So I have some Arena Rex models that we got at Adepticon some time ago.
How many Adepticons ago? 5.
Yeah. I think we each got like, not a lot, but like 3 models. And there they sat on the shelf. So I've got a little gladiator dude I want to paint up. And I'm thinking like a non-metallic bronze deal. So
That'd be cool.
I'd like to get that done. I'm hopeful I can get it done before this Adepticon. It's sort of like my hobby year is Adepticon to Adepticon, I think. So that would be pretty cool to get that done by then.
That would be neat. That would be good to do. Matt, what else? What are the rest of your things that you need to knock out?
Yeah, so Casey and Chris have gotten me into or dragged me into Trench Crusade. I'm sure most people have at least heard of it because it's been all over, the Kickstarter and then the Facebook and everything like that, and all over YouTube and whatever. Anyways, I've been kit bashing a whole bunch of those, and kind of like Brett, I'm kind of painting those to a higher standard than I normally would for most of my miniatures. So I'm trying to get at least a very basic warband to that together to a pretty high standard. Like the bases are all kind of they started with like a pretty like rubble base, and then adding a bunch of stuff to it, and they're pretty extensive kit bashes in some cases. I've got a bunch of World War I looking guys with kilts and swords. So it's been fun, but it's each individual one is pretty time consuming. Especially the plaid on the kilts, or the tartan rather. That's something.
You don't use Monument Hobbies plaid paint?
No, I wish. Somebody figured that out. I'd buy like 12 bottles and be amazing.
Exactly. That is pretty much one of the funniest ads out there, but that's all right. Yeah. So the rest of my goals are kind of straightforward. I need to get a lot of shit done for our Aeronautica campaign, besides fixing the streaming computer. Not my problem, not my streaming computer, but that's all right. I'll get it done. But I need to get more airplanes done. Some cool bad guy airplanes, some cool allied airplanes for you guys. And a couple of transports and some other things I have sitting over there that just showed up the other day. But really, I think if I put all the miniatures, wargaming crap aside, number 1, what I really need to do is play more aerial war games. I mean, I've got Aerodome over there. I've got Above the Clouds. I've got the rules for that. I've got a couple Hex Encounter games that I've just picked up, and I have not been playing any of them. So I need to make more time to play games rather than just run Aeronautica campaigns and run events at other places. But actually knock out some games because I didn't buy the stuff to let it sit on my shelf and take up room in my closet, like the closet of shame.
You did,
But
I thought that's what we're doing.
I bought rule sets to play them. No miniatures go in the closet of shame. Rule sets are meant to be played. So yeah, I bought these games to play them. So play them. That's what I need to do. Steve, what are the rest of your resolutions?
Yeah, so I definitely want to stream something at least once a week. So I've been kind of kicking around some different stuff. There's the DCS to stream. I might start streaming when I'm doing some 3D modeling and stuff like that. People have asked me like, oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? So I might just throw a stream up there. People can get some tips. Might start streaming some of when I'm playing like the vintage arcade games down there, just trying to get something that once a week on the schedule, just 30 minutes or so, just to, just interact with some more of the people out there and, drive some more, traffic over to the Blue Falcon social media pages.
Hey, Steve, how did the arcade booth go?
Oh, it's freaking awesome, man. I actually just got my high score on 1942 tonight.
Awesome.
Pretty psyched, man. Finally cracked 100,000 on one quarter, so...
Jealous that you're playing 1942 out there.
Wait,
I was
wait,
laughing.
hold on. The one in your house runs on quarters?
Yeah, I'm not gonna let my kids play that shit for free. What are you, nuts? Yeah, man, I bought a quarter door for it and everything, the whole deal.
Where the hell are these kids going to get quarters from?
No, where'd we get them from?
Dude, that was like 1980 to 1990 something. Like nobody has change anymore.
Venmo it. Takes Venmo too.
Venmo as well. That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Stealing from his kids so they can play video games. Oh man. Brett, what else is on your list?
I have some. I have all the German stuff that ever flew over Malta. Well, excepting like some rando float plane or something like that. But I need to keep working on the Allies portion of that. That's my BRS hobby goal is to get some more of the Ally planes done. I got a couple of Gladiators I could finish up and then start on some Hurricanes and get that ball rolling. That'd be good.
Nice. Yeah, that's always fun. I like a lot of the paint jobs out of Malta. So that's obviously why I have a set of Hurricanes instead of Spitfires done that way. So I need to finish up those Spitfires, put the decals on them. And it would be great if it was actually freaking warm enough to freaking spray matte and gloss on everything, but it's too effing cold. Actually, today I got close.
I was going to say, I think today and tomorrow you might be able to, or I was able to.
My one chance to spray anything for the next week.
Yeah, I was able to prime Steve's A6s and the A4s this afternoon. It was warm enough in the garage.
Yeah. I got a couple AI airplanes I got to prime, and then I got to knock out a couple of things I got to rinse and wash off first thing tomorrow morning, get them primed. Yeah, well, the one day that it's going to be nice, and then it's going to be freaking miserable again. But that's all right. Yay, North Alabama in the winter. Steve's up there like, fuck you guys. I won't see priming weather for another 2 months. All right. Well, anything else around the room?
So I have one more that I'm going to throw out there.
Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
So I know Brett was saying Adepticon is kind of his hobby year, start and end of his hobby year. So I have kind of an idea in my brain for a Wings of Glory RPG kind of campaign type thing to run at some gaming events. That if you think of the way that what is it, Aerodrome does it, where they kind of keep your stats every time you play.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like it'd be a good game to develop something for that, where maybe you walk up, you create a pilot, you run it through me and Brett's campaign system, and then kind of keep building on it for event after event after event. So I'm hoping for Adepticon 2026 that I can run some kind of super cool Wings of Glory persistent gaming event.
That'd be kind of cool to have a persistent campaign world for a year, basically, that people, wherever we go to Historicon or whatever, can come up, play some games, and definitely at Adepticon, and have the same character go through the campaign stuff. No, that'll be cool. There's a lot of stuff I've wanted to port from the campaign system over to our Aeronautica Imperialis games. I just haven't gotten around to trying to fool with it. I've been trying to do just the basic work of being a GM and having a storyline and a mission for people to run. But yeah, and if it wasn't for Matt totally ruining the storyline and screwing everything up, but whatever.
You invited me.
Yeah, I know.
I was playing a non-player character.
You were. There was literally nothing you could do wrong. All you had to show up, and if you died, that's fine. If you won the mission, that's fine. That
is my ideal game. There's nothing I can do wrong. Excellent.
Exactly. You're an NPC. It just doesn't matter. Nobody cared about you.
That works for me. It really works for me.
It works for me. Exactly. Oh, yeah. That AI campaign's fun. So hopefully we'll get the streaming piece figured out and get that going better, because that was pretty frustrating to put that much effort in the stream to suck that bad. But
it was really annoying because that was ended up being a really pretty game, and it was. I think just watching it from a third party perspective, you could actually see the narrative going on as we were playing. And that kind of sucks that the tech didn't keep up with the game.
Didn't keep up with it, because that, like I said, that was the best $39 I spent on Aeronautica miniatures, buying that D&D Sea Dragon. Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
It actually worked out really well. That was an impulse buy rather than try to print and paint something, and it worked out perfect. So. All right. Well, anything else from around the room? Brett, Steve, Matt, anything else for hobby resolutions, things that we got to fucking get done this year because we've been slackers?
You guys aren't drawing me into, what is it, Marvel Crisis Protocol, or is that a thing?
We haven't yet. I thought I sent you some.
Yeah, but there just hasn't been a lot of discussion about it. I'm just wondering, like, that's on the back of my mind. If I need to get some of those done.
That's what I've got. What do I have? I have 3 painted, and so paint 1, and that'll be enough for a force. We'll play a low threat level.
Yeah, I was about to say
MCP.
I've done 4. Yeah, 4. So
I knocked out 3, and then I assembled and primed my Captain America, and that's kind of where everything fell apart at that point. I didn't build anymore, so I got a bunch more. I got to build X-23 and a couple other cool ones that I want. So. Actually, I think I have X-23 built, just not primed. So, oh well, something over there.
Maybe I'll try that, but try to do it in that cool cell shading technique.
Oh, dude, if you can do that I've seen that really, really look awesome. So
yeah, Brett, if you figure that out, like just send me what you're doing, because I've thought about doing that for a couple projects that I've been working on.
Yeah, that would look pretty impressive.
But I actually have a hobby thing for Steve that I'd really like him to get on, is some flipping A6 decals.
Yeah. Hey, Steve, get on that. Like you have nothing to do.
Yeah, right. Like he doesn't have a list as long as his arm.
How long is his arm?
I was going to say, how long is my arm there, Matt?
It depends on which arm we're talking about, Steve.
Figuratively speaking.
No, yeah. So there were some requests, too, for decals to match the U.S. Jet Kickstarter. So I'd say it's a pretty fair certainty that there'll be some A6 decals and some that Southeast Asia Air Force scheme is just cool as hell. So there'll be some more decals for those schemes and whatnot. So there'll be some A6 decals coming for sure.
Yeah, that'll be cool. And I look forward to that Kickstarter starting up again and seeing where that goes, because there's still a lot of cool miniatures to be done out there for.
I know it's our podcast and Steve's with us and kind of associated with Blue Falcon, but I'm going to tell you the A6 that Steve did is by far the best A6 of the 2 that are currently available on the miniatures market.
Shut up! I'm trying not to buy one for myself.
No, they're awesome. I full disclosure ended up with all the test prints from Steve, and they were absolutely amazing. I guess, are they dive brakes? What are those little perforated?
I think that's what they are. Yeah, dive brakes on the side or air brakes.
Those. I mean, those are like
speed brake.
super. Yeah, speed brake. Those are super well molded. Everything looks absolutely perfect. Like it's just, you really knocked that one out of the park. I think that's that might be displacing the A4 as my favorite aircraft.
Stop sucking up to Steve. He's not going to send you any more of the offcuts. You don't need any more failed prints.
You don't know that. Shut up.
You're such a suck up. Yeah, no, they're beautiful models, and I was kind of chuckling as we did all of our prints, like of the A6s, and I was putting them, packaging them up and getting them ready to ship out to people that ordered them, and I kept looking at them going, "Oh, I really want one," but I knew how much I had for Aeronautica on my list. I'm like, yeah, an A6 is not going to be anywhere in my Aeronautica game, so we're just not going to do that one.
Dude, the A6 kind of fits like with those aircraft, though.
It does. It has kind of almost an orky look. I think an orc A6 would be kind of funny.
With the swept wings, it does look a lot like one of the fight Obamas.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Well, with that, I mean, we're jumping back in to the podcast, so we're going to call this one a little bit early from what we usually do, but we've got a lot of things lined up for the schedule. We've got a couple things lined up for the podcast. Trevor and I have been laughing about things to talk about and to get on the podcast about. So Matt, hurry up and read those Aeronautica Imperialis books we told you about, and then hopefully we'll have some cool topics in the coming year. But anyway, let me leave you with something like, "You better not burn your advantage, asshole." I don't know. I don't have any more good taglines to get us out of here.
Better not.
Thanks for listening.
That's slightly better.
That tagline was printed on the menu at the Korean barbecue place I just went to. Or maybe it was "Don't burn your asshole." I don't know.
So, Steve, is this like masochism? Why do you keep going back to Korean food after you had such a painful experience at Fall In?
I don't know if it was painful. It was just, I don't know, it was enjoyable. I liked it.
It was the good kind of pain.
It was the good kind of pain. When my sphincter is balled up and burning, it's good.
It was a good kind of pain.
I just laugh. I love it. The Bonchon place down here on Whitesburg is freaking awesome. I may have to go down there. I may have to eat lunch there tomorrow.
Why the fuck have we not been doing there?
Because you haven't made lunch anytime we've tried to make a date there, sweet cheeks.
I just asked this week if you said we could.
What are you doing tomorrow, honey?
Gonna go work?
Well, when are you gonna be done with work?
The normal time.
See the drama I put up with, guys? If you want to go to lunch, let's go to lunch.
Okay, let's go to lunch.